And we are the Other People Show. We started abruptly because the song did it's buffering. So
the internet. Well, I told you, like, I have an issue with my phone back here too. Sometimes for whatever, my signal, even Wi-Fi doesn't matter.
And like I said, we are the Other People Show, coming in haphazardly with the wheels coming off, but we're gonna put it back together. It's okay.
Yeah, that's life.
It's already back
It is,
together.
It is. I was opening up with Anthony Wayne, the track, and Why Shouldn't She?
And why should? Oh, was that on the radio just now?
It is.
It's on
It is
right
right
now.
now.
It's a pretty song.
I like it. I like it. So what's
That
been
was,
going on, Anthony Wayne?
Well, a whole lot. And why shouldn't she? Fun fact about that album. So I don't know how much. You can tell me what you want me to dive into, but
It's open forum.
all right,
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Well, long time ago, I got out of a 90-day vacation
Nice.
and put all my money into a record, and that's what
That's awesome.
that song comes off that album. But I didn't have the idea of writing. That's probably the closest I got at that time to like a country tinge.
Yeah.
But I just wanted something that was a little homemade or homey.
Yeah.
Or like something rootsy.
Okay.
Maybe rootsy is the word.
Nice.
I don't know if I really knew Americana, the term, back then, like rock and roll country mix or something. But I wanted something that felt like that to me. And I remember listening to a lot of the band when I recorded that record. And
Right.
none of that record. The album's called Bury Who We Are.
Yep.
So basically, I had substance abuse issues, and I went to rehab. And when I got out of rehab, I I took all the money I had. I had nothing left, and I made a record. Now that record didn't make me money. It keeps you alive for a minute, on the road or whatever. But
Right.
the symbolism of that entire album, I'll never be able to forget. So
Yeah.
That's
the album-
fantastic.
yeah.
Congratulations.
Thanks, man. Be 18 years in August.
Nice. Well, congratulations about
Thanks,
that.
man.
Yeah.
So that tune that you were just talking about, it's and why shouldn't she? It's just about there's some love in there. Love is a reoccurring theme.
Right. Right.
Looking for it, destroying it. All the things that we do with love.
Right.
Right.
Because we don't know. And I was probably very young at that point to even understand some of those ideas, but. It was just really, and why shouldn't she? And why shouldn't somebody else be happy? If I can't be that person, then, why shouldn't she?
Yeah.
Just find something better than me, or find something other than me. you
Right.
know? Yeah.
Very cool. Very
Sorry,
cool.
so that's a little behind the scenes there.
Yeah.
No,
So
that's great.
no, I
Listen, I can talk about things like that and substance abuse problems all day
Sure.
long too. Addiction is one of my favorite subjects.
well, didn't you
Right on,
Encourage anybody
man.
to get through it.
Well, didn't you say that I'd watched maybe about a month ago? You're starting up a podcast.
I am. Yep.
Nice.
Yeah, I don't know. Honestly, I'm pretty green at it, but
I listened to your intro. I've listened to it 3 times.
All right. Well, thank you.
I've listened to it 3 times.
Is it okay?
Yeah, it's good.
It's just me.
Yeah,
it's just me in my studio.
Yeah.
And a lot of gear like this.
Yeah.
And I just I don't know what I want to do with it. I just know that I have a little to say,
Yeah.
and I have a lot of love to give, and I want to be helpful.
Right.
That's where I'm at
And-
with my life too.
I just want to say important
Yes.
things that are helpful.
Yeah.
I don't want to, I mean, you could talk for days about how terrible people are to each other.
Right.
Yes.
Absolutely terrible.
Yeah.
And not everybody, but
A good majority.
yeah.
That's
Yeah.
a good majority
I
of the
just want-
noise.
I just
we're-
want love,
Yeah.
And I want creativity, and I want happy people, and I want
Yes.
to talk about things that are scary. Addiction.
Yeah.
I want to talk about things that people are afraid to talk about. Not that
That's me.
this is like the ultimate podcast ever, but like
No.
I just want to give this a try for a minute,
Yeah.
just to. I just finished editing my second one, so
Okay.
And
Nice.
I don't have anybody that wants to be on yet, but it's just me, just saying these are things that are important to me, and I love.
Well, listen,
I love this
talking,
band.
so if
and
you're
I
looking,
lo-
because that's exactly where I'm at in my life too. So if you
Right
want, I
on.
will talk addiction, and I'm
Done.
a talker.
Right? Yeah,
Like,
yeah. I
not
would love
to
that. I would love
worry,
to talk
man.
more. Yeah.
Well, because I'm doing the same thing. Because what I see out there, and I comment on it all the time. I started just doing some live feeds and stuff. Is everybody's just talking dystopian future, like all anybody talks about is like this horrible stuff going on, but it's like, man, because I firmly believe that energy flows where focus goes. So what you're feeding your brain and the stuff that you're thinking about is what, if that's all you're wrapped up in, everything you see in your life is gonna feed that, because your ego's got to be right. You know what I mean? Your ego's gonna be right. So if you're living in this fear of this dystopian future and everything governments are doing or whatever, you're gonna find everything around to justify that. You know what I mean? So instead of that, like, talk about what people don't want to talk about utopia or a utopian vision because they think it's perfect and it's unachievable. But what else? I mean, why not talk about it? Why not talk about the things that you would rather be doing? Because if your thoughts are there, you're going to find everything that reinforces that. Because if your ego believes that, hey, man, I got this, I'm great, whatever, I get grandiose and stuff sometimes, but I start finding everything to support that.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I made that shift, and within a month, 2 at most, we're on the radio doing this right now.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
2 months ago, I just made this decision. I was like, you know what? I'm just going to start talking about stuff. Because, I got a lot to say.
Yeah,
I've
I think that
experienced
happens.
a lot, and I encourage people to find their authenticity. And I think when we talk about things like addiction, it empowers people.
Oh, sure, yeah.
And it makes them be less afraid as well.
Sure, yeah.
Oh, there's others that...
There's so much,
Yeah.
addiction, there's so much guilt and shame tied up in that.
Yeah.
From society and families, and listen, to addicts do it to themselves. It's what fuels it for so long. We got to change this story.
Right.
We got to change the story that we're living. We're all living like these past life stories, which you'll keep doing because you're half programmed that way until you make a conscious decision.
Decide to make a change.
Change this story and write a new one. And you can write whatever story you want. You just got to make the decision to do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. So are you looking to go on a, you just put these out randomly, or are you going to go by a schedule, or just when you feel it?
Yeah, I think it's random because I'm doing so many other things,
Right.
and it's you have to like set aside like a few handful of hours. You know, obviously I work and I'm on the road a lot. I'm working on a whole new album, but I've got one tune, a new song that's really close to finishing, so I've spent a lot of time there. I had significant death in my family, and that changed the direction of a few things.
Oh, sure.
The timing, but I'm slowly coming around to that. I think the second episode of the podcast is called Earth by Train, and if anybody knows me, I had a band called Earth by Train for a long time.
That's a good name.
And it really was just about finding the alternate path.
Yes.
Whatever that may be. There's probably a lot of spiritualness to what I do and to the existence of Anthony Wayne and like music in the music world, but I was afraid that it was my responsibility. I felt like it's my responsibility, part of my responsibility that to help people, to be helpful, not help people. Like I'm not some guide, but like I feel like that people kind of falter a little bit and they just need to know that there are other ways, that,
Right.
Again, I'm not some guru in that way, but I just want to, just talk about it out loud that,
Right.
Just because XYZ venue on this side of the street doesn't enjoy your music, there's another venue across the street. Just because this festival says no, there's other festivals. There's just from the smallest to the grandest thing.
Yeah.
There are multiple ways, and so that's kind of where the Earth by Train existence came about. It's just that there's a lot of ways to reach Earth, and so that band kind of I put that away quite a few years ago, and then I just started doing Anthony Wayne again. Then Anthony Wayne Vibe came up, and that's kind of where I was for a long time. And I wanted that to be. I was by myself after Earth by Train, so there was Anthony Wayne, and then I didn't want to be Anthony Wayne Band. I felt like that was just didn't sound. I don't know. I just didn't enjoy it, so I wanted to be something that evoked an emotion. I wanted more emotion to it.
Sure.
So the word vibe, as simple as it is and overused as it is, it still felt right.
Yeah.
And then I came up with this really cool logo, and I was like, all right, this is what it is, and this is what it's going to be. And so.
And you've got a lot of stuff going on, because I know you've got you do like a festival that you kind of created.
Yeah, we started it. We started it 2 years ago. Of course, it's called A Vibe.
Right.
5 letters altogether, A Vibe. And we did it 2 years in Bristol, and then COVID.
Right.
Yeah.
And then we couldn't really figure out where we wanted it to be, and I couldn't find a home. The 2-year home had expired, and I needed somewhere new, and it was under my nose the entire time. Where we live now.
Right.
And I had some people reach out, and I was like, okay, this is what it is now. And they've, in a lot of ways, I feel like they've just kind of given me the keys to the kingdom.
Yeah.
And what we want the
Nice.
future to be for this festival.
Very cool.
That's
So I want it to
fantastic.
be so many things. Like my head is just full of bees all the time about like what I want it to be and what are the possibilities. I know so many cool people, you guys included, and I just want all my favorite people and people that I've lost contact with. I want to reconnect, and people that I
Yes.
talk to all the time. I want them to do all these things with me. And I
Yes.
just want it to be this
Is
really.
that not just the most exciting way to live life?
Yeah. And
You put yourself in that creative spirit, and that's how you change the world, really.
It's easy. It's also just as easy it is to get into that spirit. It's easy to lose it,
Sure.
and to forget about it, to take advantage of it, to,
Sure.
just we get so caught up. We just get so caught up,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
and I just wanted to vibe. I think
Vibe.
I don't know how helpful this is, but I just had this. I had this vision of people being told no, and of all the booking that I do,
Right.
and I'm sure you guys can relate. Anything, just take parts of your life. The ways of being told no,
It's just like even when I'm submitting to film
resumes
festivals.
or film festivals,
Yeah.
Yeah.
job resumes, cooking ideas,
Sure.
anything like that.
Sure.
Just being told no is just tough.
Yeah.
It's tough, man. And to
rejection's hard.
be told that, have that, rejection, to have that constantly. And there's some spirit in us, in that creative energy that we have, that allows us to say, okay, I'm not going to stop.
No.
Right.
And we keep going. And
Right.
I wanted it to be, I keep my, this is how it is on social media is a thing. So let's just say it. But, you keep your eyes
Go
open.
for it.
You don't have to like everything. You don't have to react to everything, comment, say everything, but you keep your eyes open. You see who's not moving, who's hustling,
Yeah.
who's, there's just all these different worlds you can look at. I'm just talking about in bands in particular.
Right.
And I see people that are hustling that are just having trouble. And again, there's no saving here. It's just like, I dig the hustle,
Sure.
like I respect that. And I see
Yeah.
it and I go, I want that guy, that girl, this group. I want those to be part of something that we're building,
Yes.
because if they're going to hustle on their own, they're going to hustle for something,
Greater
that has a team,
Yes,
and
agreed.
when you,
Agreed.
and any successful team, any successful, venture, if you put hustlers and people that are willing to work and do the work around you, it makes it.
Yeah.
It's like you really
Yeah.
do surround yourself with people who
That want to build something
Yeah.
with you, regardless
To do-
of what
to do
that
the great
is.
things,
Yeah.
Yeah. Agreed.
and
I agree with that 100%.
and
It
that's-
took me
Me too.
later in life to learn that.
Oh,
Even
yeah.
though it's a
Well,
very simple thing
I know.
saying it, but
Yeah.
We
You
get
know-
our heads are so up our behinds, like
Yeah.
we're trying to focus on so many other things, and it's, it's sometimes at the end of the day you feel like it's me. I'm just constantly chasing, trying to book, and then and then like there's a breakthrough, like with this new song. I had this significant death in my family, and it kept me separated from music for a minute. I was going through the motions of playing music,
Right.
because that's something that's habitual, and I just don't know how to stop it. I don't know that I would begin to know how to stop it if I wanted to, but it's just something that you constantly do, because it's easy. You can just, formulate the email, get out and do 120 shows a year, hit it,
Right.
Now the whole emotion behind how it makes you feel, what does it do to you on the road, how's your energy level, all those things are completely non-existent when you're in this sort of in the context of this. But when you come to the creative part, it's when you get to the creative part when you really want to put some emotion into it, and your emotion is nowhere.
yeah.
And so
Yeah.
I just shut the door, and I just kept myself away from it all for a long time. And I don't know how it ever survived, but I started listening to this one song, Mirror.
Okay.
I started listening to it again, and then it just kind of unfolded a little bit better. And I was like, I guess maybe some time had passed, and you kind of can hear it from different perspective and different ears.
Right.
And there's growth in that. There's growth in all that too. So, yeah, I had like a little bit of a burnout with a previous group, and kind of just started kind of reevaluating where I wanted to head with music. And then, honestly, if I'm being honest, probably the first time I ever said it out loud, but I was probably pretty close to like, maybe I don't know if this is right for me anymore. Like maybe there's something else for me, Yeah, I looked at all the avenues. Like, what do I do? What do you do? Where are you going? And then of course, that doesn't last long, because you go, that's stupid.
I've been there too.
Sure.
I've been there too.
And and you have to let yourself feel some of that. Like, you have to like take it on the chin a little bit and say, okay, maybe that's part of it. And then you, it's one piece of art, one picture, one song, one moment in time, one step forward.
Yeah.
All those little things add up, and it creates momentum, and then you're off again, and you're off again.
Momentum. That's what it's all about too, and that can go either way.
And
momentum,
for sure.
Hard work, motivation.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, and I would think maybe most people maybe they don't have the motivation, because self-motivating is not easy for a lot of people.
Because you're creating something that doesn't exist.
Yes.
You're creating it out of, like, it's
While
imaginary.
It's pretty much like you're trying to walk as the wind's blowing against you.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what, I watched a real interesting talk recently talking about motivation, because I have a procrastination issue that I work on. And they put it in the context of dopamine. And dopamine being, basically the reward, and a reward or something at the end is what drives us. That's what motivates us to do anything, really, if you think about it. And so we live in this world now where we get instant dopamine. Here we are to social media again. Feel free to talk about social media, because we talk about it. We're live streaming on social media right now. But it's like this instant dopamine thing. And so what's happened is people start lacking motivation. It's like, it contributes to procrastination, because when you can just get that instant dopamine fix from your phone, or take a selfie, and it and it blows up, hundreds of people are like, oh, you're so beautiful, or whatever. There's what motivation is there to go, like, try and accomplish a goal, and people just start kind of losing sight of that. And so
to that I would suggest, this is not directed at anybody, but there's certain people to follow, certain people not to follow.
Yes.
There's like it's not even about toxic anything. It's just about, like, there are motivators and there are fake motivators, you know, and like once you find, like, you have to really, like, keep your ears open, ears and eyes, and just look and pay attention to what everybody's doing and, like, what they're saying. And, like, you can kind of weed through some of that. This is just for anybody listening, the true is out there, like the real people, the true people that are out there, and they're doing great things. They're making good movements. There's also people who are doing, like, what you're talking about, and it just, it may make them millions or whatever it's doing, but it's not a path that feasibly somebody like us or me can follow,
me either.
Well, I always find that the more projects, more irons in the fire, the more motivated I am.
Sure.
The busier that I am, the more motivated that I am.
Because you have.
No, that's true too. I can see that too.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because we started off, just doing the show on Wednesday. Well, I've done the show for a while. You were on the old incarnation of the show.
I was, yeah.
We'd done the show a while. We did it with the podcast. We came over here. Now we're venturing out, doing a lot of different things as well. And it's like the more momentum. It's just like a snowball that just keeps growing in a positive way.
Yep, that's that momentum.
And even in that momentous moment, like, you've got all these plates spinning. There are still failures. There's still small failures, but they're not so huge and monstrous and detrimental to, like, your focus, because you've got these other guys moving, and you're okay, I'll do this.
You're not taking out.
Yeah, you're just like, all right, that just happens.
Yep.
So let's move on.
Bounce back and do it. Yeah.
That's you got to stay active and keep it moving.
So I see you got your guitar with you.
I do, yeah.
So what do you got a song prepared for us tonight?
I don't really have anything prepared, but I could play. I don't know. Like, what are you guys feeling?
Well, I did notice, and when I'd listened to your first episode, that you said you basically had an entire album.
Okay,
and it was scrapped. So right?
Yeah, I did. I did a full album, and
I was curious about that.
Well,
if that's okay. To talk
sure. Yeah. Nothing's off limits.
Okay.
I did a full album, there was some infighting with band members, and and I'll say I'm not always easy to work with.
Creative people aren't.
I'm very sober. Yeah, I'm very sober, and I'm hyper focused, and so and I'm also pretty emotional too. Like when things when there's no success, or like if there's like high highs and low lows, and so it's probably challenging to be around. And then like you add different personalities and things like that. So and not to say that 100% of people that I've ever played with have not worked out, but like so that album, we didn't really get finished with it, but there were some parts that I felt like I didn't want to continue with. So I kept I primarily just kept the vocals because I felt like they were pretty strong.
Okay.
And it was still a scratch vocal, but I still felt like it was on good gear, and that might, scratch vocals end up being in the final mix. They're just flirts, and they're kind of in the background, But so then I just took all the files and brought it to my house, and then I beefed up my studio. I said, well, instead of spending the time on something that I know is not going to work, let's focus on building the studio the way we want it.
Right.
Get it up. Let's put this record into it, and then mix it around. So then I started playing some more, adding more parts to it. So over time, and the whole time I'm playing a ton of shows.
Okay.
Like I'm still keeping that. That's like, just so you know, that never went away.
Right.
Nice.
And so it was like I would just play 3 or 4 weeks on the road or whatever, and then come home and decompress and go, okay, let's go record again.
Right.
So it was that kind of, and then plus living life.
Right.
There's life too. There's vacuuming. Yeah. There's like life
going
that goes
to the grocery store.
Don't forget to trash.
I've always had a lot of dogs, so there was some dog deaths in there, and that takes its toll. You know?
Sure.
So I did this record. And then started releasing songs from it. So you can find all this on Spotify or wherever you find. The website is awvibe.com, awvibe.com, and that's everything. That'll get you everywhere. But so the record is it's not all the way done, but a lot of the tunes are shaping up at the same time. They're all rising at the same time. So then I would work a little bit, and then I guess I have maybe some. I would just get, I don't know, not bored with it, but I was like, all right, it's okay for now. And then I would go write a ton more tunes, and I'm like, okay, so I've got 35 that are actually waiting for this record to finish. And then every show that I play, I record. So I've got like 300 live shows.
Wow, okay. Wow.
So I've got all this material that it's just ready to do something with, and I was putting it on hold.
Right.
In my mind, in my heart, emotionally and mentally, it was on hold because I wanted to be in a band. And so I'm constantly rehearsing.
Right.
And trying to learn tunes. I'm learning the same 20 songs.
Right.
Because I want a great band, and I miss that. But I just know that now's not the right time for me to have that.
Right.
I do play with people. There are people that I play with, but I think primarily my focus is just to get the record done. And so that's kind of where once you change your focus, it really cleans up the room a little bit.
Yeah. Agreed.
It's like you can see things a little differently.
Yes.
It's kind of like with mixing, with editing and film. Like you take something out, it leaves space.
Yeah.
And you're able to move things around and shift it around a little bit.
Yeah.
Because like my life maybe was a muddy mix for a minute, and then once I got this new focus, I realized that okay, this is what needs to be done. The record needs to be done. There's a video. I need to get back on the road.
Yes.
I need a tour. I'm going to book a bunch of solo shows. There's this, there's that. And then all of that, I was like, I'm doing all these things, and I'm talking to myself, and I'm not sharing what I'm doing.
Right.
Let's do a podcast.
Right.
So that's how I brought the Earth by Train idea. I was just like, all right.
Nice.
So for this 20 minutes, I'm going to talk about what I've done for the last week. And I felt like that was a good start for this. And that's starting to feel really good.
Because you said you had no notes, nothing.
Yeah.
Still don't.
Kind of like
I don't
now.
either.
Yeah.
I don't roll with notes either.
Yeah.
I'm much better off the
cuff.
You guys are definitely deeper in it in that way, so I'm learning, but it's a different sort of performance for me. Like it's different performance.
Yeah.
But I'm okay with it. And
no, you're doing great.
Yeah.
No worries, man. I'm just getting into the whole podcast thing too, and I've wanted to do it forever. And again, it's taken stuff that's been people that work with me, and again in kitchens have heard me ranty stuff forever. I was like, man, I just gotta like take it more public,
right?
Yeah.
Because I mean, it's good stuff. It makes people think, and I love that. I love making people think and just pause, like, huh.
I'm having a good time with it.
No, we didn't say
is
the reason Anthony Wayne might have been a little late was because you had a gig earlier today.
I sure did. Yeah, I played a 6-hour show.
Yeah, 6 hours.
Yeah, it was literally 6 hours.
Wow. In Damascus.
It did. Yeah, it was for Trail Days. I played on an outdoor area, and so I just did a bunch of sets.
Okay.
And I've been enjoying the solo shows lately because I have loop pedals and I have a lot of effects and things, and so I'm able to create soundscapes.
Yeah.
I do that's what I love about Daniel Lanois. And here we go again, let's take it back to Sling Blade, boys.
Yeah, let's do.
I love like sound and like manipulating sound, not like in an EDM sort of way, but just like in a jazzy, loose.
Yeah. Are you familiar with FKJ, the musician FKJ? He does a lot of looping stuff, and he's one of these cats that's super jazzy. He plays it all himself.
Yeah.
The keys, horns. You'll dig him. I use him as background when I do my live feeds because it's like super chill. You'll like him.
Okay.
I promise you, just with
now,
what you just described.
Haven't you suggested FKJ during Musical List Monday?
I suggest it to anybody.
Okay.
All right, cool. I'm going to check it out.
Because I do a Music List Monday every Monday.
Yeah,
post a music list, and then people post suggestions, and I'll have a video response listening to the song.
Cool. Okay, I need to get in on that.
Yeah, please do.
But yeah, I did play a show, and then I just had enough time to get back to home base and let my dog out, and then head straight here.
You actually put us on your site. You put us on 92.5, so very cool.
Yeah. Nice. I try to. It's a lot.
Yeah,
like it's a lot to juggle.
Because you manage it all yourself, don't you?
I do. Yeah. I've had booking agents and managers and things of that sort, but I think I wanted to keep it a little close to home for a while. And
well, listen, Black Bear Barbecue is always looking for people. We got a stage.
Oh, sure. Everything. Yeah, I've actually spoken to the owner a couple times. Yeah, about they were a sponsor for Revive last year.
Nice.
So
he's super good. Dude.
He was super kind to me. Yeah,
local stuff, man.
So I'm sure that we'll. I'm going to tie it all together. It's hard to release anything about a festival. Like when there's like 85,000 festivals being released at the same time, it just gets swallowed up. And not that I'm holding any information, but there are, like I know a lot of who's playing, and I know a lot about where it's going to be and all this, the details. But
feel free to.
Yeah, we're going to get there. It's
feel free off air to.
Sure.
We're working on press passes for like Blue Highway Festival and a couple other things.
Oh, cool.
I'd like to try and get.
If you guys want in on a vibe, I would love for you guys to do something there.
Yeah,
I don't know what your remote situation looks like, but we can make it work.
Yeah, I'm sure we can come up with something.
We can get a table. I've got gear. We can record.
That would be.
I think it would be a lot of fun. And have like interviews and whatnot.
Now, so you got a gig coming up the 25th at Good Times.
Yeah. Oh, Das Novas.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's that's another. Well, that's another thing. So like, we're talking about all these things that you get involved in, but they asked me to be in their band, and they're really great. It's so it's Stephen Murray. You can check all the history out on these guys, but like they're all pretty local dudes, and they're all just it's like being in a band with all your favorite songwriters, honestly.
Nice.
But I don't do a lot of guitar playing. I'm there. So I was a drummer first.
Yeah.
And so I play hand percussion for Das Novas.
Okay.
But we do rotate, and I do play a couple songs on guitar. And then so it's Stephen Murray on guitar. He sings and plays keys and guitar. And Evan O'Quinn, he's local. Well, they're all local, but he plays guitar and keys as well. Brandon Maggard, he plays guitar and cajon.
Nice.
So him and I switch off on drums, but Brandon and I have been pretty tight for a long time. We've done a lot of projects. He's very involved in a vibe. He runs all, if not 110% of all the sound that happens on those days. He works very hard, and he actually came and helped me do a final pass on the song Mirror.
Okay.
I was going to try and bring it up here, but I thought it's just not ready, and maybe we'll do it another time.
Maybe the next time you're on.
That'd be great.
Yes.
It's almost done. But so Steven and Evan and Brandon, myself, Philip Austin, he's a new transplant to Big Stone. He plays upright bass. And then Blake Phillips, he plays trumpet and some odds and end percussion. So there's 6 of us. And then we have a special guest for that show, the 25th, and that is a singer.
Okay.
Nice.
And
I'm going to have to go check this out.
Yeah, it's cool, man. It's like We do. So, like, just imagine, like, 4 really prolific, well, not prolific, but, like, really strong songwriters, and then they're all different styles.
Right.
Yeah.
So the band, it sounds like each of those different styles.
That's
so
really
a full
nice.
band, like, for 25 songs, sounds like 10 different bands.
Right.
Like, there's some Latin feel.
Yeah, nice.
Like
That's fantastic.
I'm trying to push them to do a Pavement song. Like I love punk, and then there's some oldies, and
Okay.
we're all from different age groups too. So it's a lot of fun. And
Sounds like it would be.
I'm enjoying it,
bands
and the
musicians
crowds
like
are really enjoying it. And
That's from Das Novus.
Das Novus.
I
yeah.
like the name
Das
too.
Novus,
Yeah.
I do
yes.
like that name.
Yep.
That's cool. Very cool. A lot of cool stuff coming up.
Yeah. So yeah, of course they'll. Anybody that's in Das Novus is probably going to be at a Vibe. It's a safe bet.
Right. Right.
That's just how it is. And you guys hopefully are going to be part of a Vibe.
Yeah, that's
and that goes back to the
that's
community
exciting.
thing that we were talking about. Like I just want all the cool people to hang out.
Yeah.
And my life wasn't always about hanging out. It was, I've probably been, if not a professional hermit, pretty close to it.
Yeah,
Like
I can relate.
I just tour a lot, and I go home and I watch a ton of movies and read a bunch of books and collect vinyl, and that makes me happy.
And
it
then go back on
and-
tour again.
Yeah, and it makes me happy, and it keeps me out of like negativity and like just gray days. And not that I don't have those by myself, but
Sure.
I'm learning so much about myself and my limits, and now I know where to go and what avenues to walk through. That door that I have that closed off that part of my house to my studio is no longer closed.
Right.
I actually took it
Nice.
off.
Nice.
I took it off the hinges, so
Good.
it's not able to close anymore.
Not able
so
to.
Fantastic.
Very cool.
See.
now it's just a passageway, and you just go in or out.
You just-
And I see
nice.
it every day. So that's the important part. Is I wanted to.
Yeah.
I could close it, and it just became a dark wall. And
Sure.
now I have to see it, and
Yeah.
that's important.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It is.
So that keeps me motivated.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. So
Yeah.
let's play whatever you want to play,
Sure.
man.
Yeah. Well, we're talking about Mirror Man, so maybe we'll do that one.
Okay.
And then, yeah. So Mirror has been around. I will tell you this, and you can. I don't know if anybody's going to believe it or not, but it was the first tune I ever wrote,
Okay.
ever.
Nice.
Wow.
And I wrote this
Okay.
probably pre-high school, maybe, or in high school, right at the beginning of it. But I don't know. It's just about being alone and finally choosing to not be there anymore.
Okay.
Many nights I sit alone here in this darkened room, writing lines on the floor that are never swept away. Dust-covered entrance door only swings one way. I don't wanna be alone no more, so I set my spirits free. My pathetic life, it's always trying to get its own on me, on me, on me. Crumpled paper scattered, torn, been writing for so long, and attempting to use this broken outlet to hear where I belong. As I watch the candle burning bright, see another flame dance in me. I'm still consumed in your trance. I don't wanna be alone no more. So I set my spirit free. My pathetic life, it's always trying to get its hold on me. I don't wanna be alone no more. So I set my spirit free. My pathetic life. Screaming lost soul, fill this empty room with their incessant chatter of love that should never be. And sometimes our skin doesn't want to let our soul be free. I don't wanna be alone no more. So I set my spirit free. My pathetic life.
Nice.
That's the abbreviated version. Thank you.
That was
Very good. I like that.
Thank
I
you.
like that.
It's
Wonderful.
Thank
the
you.
first song that you ever wrote.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Awesome.
Now, did you ever think when you wrote it back then that this would be a song that you'd be performing so many years later?
No. It's taken me this long to build the courage up to record that tune.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's pretty new. Like I never recorded it. I didn't play it live very much at all.
Just because it was
Wow.
too close?
Maybe yeah. Like there's sometimes our skin doesn't want to let our soul be free.
Yeah. That's a good saying too. Yeah.
But
I really enjoyed that. It was
thanks.
good.
I'm glad you did.
That was
Yeah.
wonderful. Thank you so much.
But
fantastic.
there's a once you start gaining momentum, like with the recording, and it starts to sound a little more like you want it to sound,
Yeah.
then you get that confidence. You're like, oh, okay, maybe this tune is starting to like really find its way. Like not every song is great or like sounds good when you record it. So you know what I mean? Like, there's just some stuff doesn't sound great, so you just go, oh, that's terrible. Let's move on. But as songwriters, as filmmakers, as chefs, you just move on.
Yeah.
Like you don't, you
Right.
just okay. Sorry, that did not work. I'm going to take a few bits of that,
Yes.
and I'm going to put it to this new
Something
in this new
else.
direction.
Right.
Yeah.
You just got to
Takes
keep.
what works, leave
Yeah.
the rest.
Yeah,
Like,
you got
kinda
to you got to
just
keep hustling.
redirecting yourself
Yeah.
a little bit.
Just got to keep hustling. And I knew Mirror would come. I just didn't push it. And then I just wrote like 40 other songs in that time period. And I was like, okay, these are all much different and funner and different and better or whatever. So yeah, it took shape really quick, and it's very pretty.
like
I'm very pleased with it.
I'm glad. 'Cause
Yeah.
I'm glad you decided to share it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I am
Thank you.
too.
That's
Thank you guys
wonderful.
for
I
allowing me to do
am.
it.
Now there was kind of an interesting thing. You two had met or knew one another before. You
I don't know. Well, I said he looked familiar.
You said you
but I
knew how
couldn't
you
place from where.
you knew Casey. You remembered how you had met Casey or something.
Well, I
before.
feel like that we at some point in our youth or another life might have worked together.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I tell you what. As far as locally, I've pretty much worked two places: Holiday Inn and Huddle House. Locally, predominantly.
Okay,
And
that's
Huddle
not it
House
then.
being predominantly the better part of on and off for 20 years since they opened.
Okay.
Yeah, then I was incorrect.
Huh.
Maybe do I have a doppelganger?
We'll have to. Yeah, maybe we'll have
Was
a.
it somewhere local?
No. but maybe we'll have a conversation about it and see if we can dig it up.
That'd be cool because I was born and raised in Florida, and so I moved up here. Well, I moved up once in must have been like '89. I want to say it was in 9th grade, and then we moved up for good in '93. So like I graduated from Powell Valley in '94, and I started working in restaurants. Like McDonald's. I started McDonald's in Big Stone.
You did?
Yeah, and that was the year I graduated.
So this is an interesting thing.
I went to jail the first time 2 years.
Have you ever worked at a fast food place?
I did.
Really? Which place?
I worked where he worked.
McDonald's.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I moved. I moved in '92.
So you all both had worked at the same McDonald's at different times in your life.
That's what it appears like.
That's how I met a lot of people too.
Wow.
Like
I moved right out of high school. I knew that I didn't.
I
it wasn't
met some
for
cool
me.
people working there.
I was raised in Ohio, and then I moved here in Virginia. I went to high school for 4 years, and then immediately moved.
Right.
I had nothing. I was just like, I don't know what I want to do, but I'm gonna do this. And I just packed everything. I had a dog, and I had a truck, and I just packed everything in it and took off. I didn't have much. I didn't have any furniture.
Did you go to Nashville?
I did.
Okay.
Yeah. Murfreesboro. Nice. I started out in the borough.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say, do you know like Tony Dickinson and Vic something? What was
his
name? They had Aggie Colored Karma back in the day. And like I worked with Tony. I met him through McDonald's. And I remember we used to go over. I went and saw him over at the Casbah. I don't know how many times. And I remember going and seeing him open for White Buffalo one time.
Yep.
I don't know if you're familiar.
I remember Casbah.
Did you? Yeah, I remember the Casbah too. That was crazy. That was a long time ago. So like we're back in the '90s. We're gonna start getting all nostalgic again.
I mean the '90s really.
Oh, the best music.
That's who turned me on to like Dave Matthews Band. Like a lot of those people. Widespread Panic. That's how I heard all this. Who was you were talking about earlier? I can't remember the name. Slips my mind now.
Fish, Panic, Dave. I still listen to those. I don't get far.
We were talking about it at the top of the show. Who was it? I can't. It's totally slipping my mind now. I can't believe I can't. He mentored all the people you were talking about.
Colonel Bruce.
Yeah, Colonel Bruce.
ARU.
Yeah. Yes. I remember it was right around that time.
I still listen to them. I still pull them out.
I stumbled upon them on a Mountain Stage sampler.
That's a great one. I actually have that still.
They
did. Was that Working on a Building?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Wow, that's exactly what it was. And that's that first place I heard them.
That's fun.
And then of course, like again, that's Fish and all those people. Widespread Panic. I'm very familiar.
Yeah, Panic's been
good stuff.
I probably, I probably have some of those bands in me. You know, on some level. Panic was big.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm going through your webpage as I'm listening to the conversation.
Sure.
And you've got quite a few things on here. Very cool stuff. It's been updated since I was there last time.
Yeah.
It looks like it had been.
I try to do like 15 minutes on everything. Like you just got to keep it moving. Like do social media, move. Do website, move.
I usually try to do. I mean, social media it can take a team almost, for some of these people because it does take time to do it. And I've tried to get introduced to like TikTok and stuff to promote.
Still not there.
Yeah, no, I just started maybe 6 weeks ago.
I pretty much use Facebook.
How are you liking
YouTube, and that's
where I'm at. Just the OGs.
I do think that
which works for our demographic.
Yeah. That it's helped steer traffic a little bit because I have noticed views and viewership on the YouTube pages went up significantly over the last couple of weeks.
Well, I was watching this dude.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah,
I was watching this dude Gary V one time.
Love Gary V.
Are you familiar?
Yeah, totally.
Dude, he's talking about the main ones. He talks YouTube Shorts.
I think you mentioned
he's
him
talking
to me
about
before.
TikTok almost being too late as a trend, but he is the same dude. And I'm going to say this again that I repeat this every time I heard him say it in the talk. And he was talking to, I want to say he was talking to these. He was in Dubai. I want to say talking to these realtor guys, and he's the guy that was like, the camera on your phone is better than the camera Hollywood was using 20 years ago.
Yeah.
And that has stuck with me ever since I heard that dude say
I don't
that.
disagree with that.
No, I mean, it's like fantastic, but he's all about content too.
But I love the filter of the older cameras, it still looks cool. Like Sling Blade, definitely dated material, like gear, but I thought it really works. It made it work for the movie, I think.
If that movie was shot on, this iPhone, it would be crisp, but it would take away from some of the character.
No, but it's like we talk about when we watch, like my girl's got this like super high def TV, and I love it. It's great to watch stuff, but sometimes
it's tough
takes away.
Yeah,
I've
seen
movies.
because it looks too perfect.
I've seen some news like current TV on like somebody who's got a really great television, and it's almost like unwatchable for me. I just go, like you can see like pores, like you can see like like people just look, they're like in your living room.
It almost, when I make the comment, it's like so high def, it almost looks low budget. You know what I mean?
Oh wow, that's cool.
You know what I mean? Because it's like, God, I guess this is like.
Yeah,
I can see too much. Where's the Hollywood filter here that makes this look like?
Well, that was one thing I'm not sure what a lot of other filmmakers have used camera-wise in the short film festival, but we shot it on the iPhone 14.
Yeah,
and it which I did put some filters on it to give it more of a cinematic look.
Yeah.
And if when I get an anamorphic lens, that will add to it as well. But the technology, I do agree it's better, the camera, but it did play a part in a lot of those 90s movies. That grittiness as well.
It's almost like we have all this technology at our fingertips, but we still go back.
Yeah,
we're still going back to Smashing Pumpkins' first album. Like you just always go back.
Yeah, let's make it back like this, like it was in the 90s. Yep. So you got another song in you tonight?
Yeah, or we can talk.
That'll be great. We got. Yeah, take the show out with it.
Yeah.
Take the show out with a song.
Yeah. Well, we could.
Well, we got.
Well, are we covering everything? Let's the website, the festival. Can't really say too much about it because I don't have a lot of specifics, but it's still there. It is happening. It's
you've got the Earth by Train podcast.
Earth by Train podcast. Yep, it doesn't have its own page currently. Just go through the Vibe, the website. You'll figure it out from there.
Episode 2 be up this week?
Yeah, actually, I was gonna try and get it up today so I could tag in, us doing it. And by the way, here's, But so I'll probably do it tomorrow.
Okay,
I'm sure it'll probably be up tomorrow.
We'll repost it tomorrow when you upload it.
All right,
so
cool.
That'll be very cool.
Absolutely.
Just writing a bunch of tunes. Got a new one coming out, Mirror, that I just played, but the actual studio version has a lot of it's real layered. It's I'm very proud of it. I know that everybody's proud of their art, but I just feel like this it was such a tough tune to do. In ways, emotionally and things, and I just felt like I really worked through it in real time to get it where I wanted it, and that to me is a success.
Absolutely.
That makes me feel like I won a small battle.
Well, I'm glad that
and some slight adversity. There was a lot going on in my life that I was uncertain, a lot of shaky ground, but I was still able to do something good with it, and that
turn that negativity into something positive.
Right.
And, well, I'm glad that I saw you perform for the first time in a couple of years a few weeks ago.
Yep, that's the first time I'd seen you in a minute.
Yeah, that was at the Big Cherry.
It was, yep.
And that was a cool place. I hadn't been there before. It was a cool place.
I had went inside when I talked to them last year for a Vibe, and they were very kind to us and gave us a bunch of shirts, and we gave a bunch of stuff away. And so the ultimate idea with the Vibe is to block off Big Stone,
right?
And have all those venues. They're giving me the ability to do all that. They want us to do all that.
Very cool.
Nice. But awesome. Logistically, that would be tough. With not enough hands. So
sure.
Now it's about building that community. So I know what the 5-year looks like, but I need to worry about this year. And I need to get the hands on. I need to get all the bands. I need to get everybody really involved with each other.
Lay the groundwork for everything.
Yes.
I'm not, I'll be honest, one of the things that really bothers me, and it just seems silly to let it bother me, but I don't have a whole lot of time to go out and see other local artists.
Right.
And that's not because I don't want to, it's just because, after you do 8-10 hours of whatever I'm doing, then you're just whipped.
Tired,
you're really worn out, and it's like you need to kind of you do. But so I just I'm gonna do better at that. That's one thing I wanted to say is I'm gonna do better at that, and I want to do better. And a lot of me kept me away from.
My goodness, yeah.
And it wasn't for anything, just my sanity. Honestly, I just wanted to get this record finished, and it's been going on for quite some time. So it's time to get it.
But you see the light at the
end. I do, I actually do. I still have a lot to go, but I still. I listened to it all the way through last night, and it's still fun. There's a lot of fun stuff. And there's a lot of cool guest stars. There's guest stars, but a lot of cool musicians that I brought on to do parts. So I think people are going to be.
Would that be
surprised.
a 2023 release?
Man, wouldn't that be nice?
It's pushing it.
Yeah. Who knows? Honestly, we're getting into summer. We're getting into festivals. There's going to be a lot. My schedule already looks wild. Yeah. I think it's going to be a. I've set aside the winter to work on my first novel, so I don't know how that's gonna.
Nice.
I'm trying to finish the record with with writing as well. But
I do have I do want to write a novella.
Yeah,
that's something that's on the bucket list. It's one of the few things that I did record a song and release a song, Autumn Leaves. We did that in 2021. So that I'd written when you said that was one of your first songs. I'd written this wasn't one of my first songs, but I'd written it in 2005.
Yeah.
And had never. I'd only performed it for myself.
Sure.
And then when we were actually in studio, and I had a guest, she sang beautifully. I tried to get her to take the song, but she would only do it if I sang on it as well.
Man, I need to hear it.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
It's on.
I'm sorry.
It's on Spotify.
Is it?
Okay.
I've never written
Autumn
a
Leaves.
song, but I've played on some stuff. So like I was a sax player.
Yeah. Oh, cool.
I haven't played a horn in a while though, but I don't know if you know like Anthony Lobiondo.
Yeah.
Of course. Silly question.
Yeah.
Yeah, we recorded some stuff way back in the day. Like we were living down in Olinger, and on our front porch, and it was I want to say it was the first incarnation rather of the Ivory Coast Marauders. So I know he carried on and did more with that because I know they did some other
cool
stuff.
Band name.
Yeah, it's a great band.
It
name,
is
isn't
a
it?
cool band name.
But
I forgot.
we recorded it. We recorded it on this old house stereo system on cassette with a floor mic from an old video camera.
Oh, heck
and there was 4 of us. So he was on the
guerrilla style.
Yeah, he was on the set. I was playing horn. Our friend Eric Beckman was on kind of rhythm guitar, and then Jody Leary was playing bass. And it's some good stuff, and it's all improv. I mean, we're just
amazing.
jamming out. But it was great stuff.
Awesome.
And it was great because on this one track, we lived right next to the railroad track. So, like, it picks up the train horn. I was like, this is
I
so
love,
perfect.
the field recordings. I love that
Yes.
stuff. I do it a lot. I just do it and save it.
But he
Like,
took some of that cassette stuff, and he got it up on the web. And I want to say it's lordacksomething.com. I can't remember what it was, but it's on there
Very
somewhere.
cool.
You can find it.
Very cool.
Yeah. It's crazy stuff.
Very
That's
cool.
way back in the day.
We got a few minutes left here. I want to go ahead and give the plugs out before Anthony Wayne takes us out with another song.
Nice.
But go to social media, the Facebook, Spotify, YouTube, TikTok. You want to plug your stuff, Anthony Wayne?
Sure, awvibe.com, awvibe.com. That's everything. YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, everything's there. That's kind of really what I focus on.
The central place.
Yeah, I think there's going to be a Patreon at some point. You have to really work on the material, and I've got a lot of material now, so I think you may see that in 24, 25.
Okay.
A Vibe is the festival, AVIBE. It's coming up in August. Tons of shows coming up, new song coming out, new video coming out. Just all kinds of fun stuff. Just
that sounds great.
Trying to keep at it. Thank you guys for allowing me to do
thanks
this.
for coming in.
Thanks
for bringing the biscuits.
Oh, yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, that was good. So you'll be at the...
Where are we at?
Let's see, you'll be at...
I think Dos Novas is the next show.
Yeah, and then the 27th, you'll be in Johnson City.
Yeah, Johnson City.
And then back at Good Times on the 2nd. So you got a couple more local gigs, and then you're going to be going to Roan Mountain. Where's Roan Mountain at?
It's headed towards Johnson City.
Okay, Roan Mountain.
There's a little thing there.
Okay.
I kind of wanted to keep it local because I'm recording.
Right.
And a lot of those road shows are tough to get back and like have that juice to be able to be focused. So we're going back out. Our first big run is in September. We're doing a couple of festivals in September, and then we've got several weeks down south. So we're just I'm trying to get caught up before then. So I have the stuff to,
Very cool.
That's awesome.
It's a lot of like 6 month planning. It used to be it was like 3 months.
Right.
Now it's like 6 months, and you
Right.
got to totally plan so far ahead.
Yeah. Well, thanks for coming in
Well,
tonight.
thanks for having me. I appreciate you guys very much.
Thoroughly enjoyed it. Great
Thanks
show.
to the audience for tuning in. Also, there's going to be another episode of The Dark Place Wednesday at 10 p.m. And then Casey has switched around his scheduling. So
I'll drop that on my Facebook page because I haven't determined days. But again, I gotta take that lunch break live to a longer format because I can't do it in just 20 minutes.
I think you do the lunch break live. You turn it into the podcast.
Yeah.
And then you release it the day of. Like
Yes.
maybe something like that. Or
Yeah,
video
I think
cast.
I like the 15-20 minute format But I can't do that on a spur of the moment kind of live setting. That's for some edited kind of content.
Yeah.
But I love doing live stuff.
Like
this. You know what I mean?
It has this energy.
Sure. Yeah. No, it's just real, and it's great. But you know, people. It's hard to get people to watch something sometimes that's that long. Sometimes I think when they see an hour long format, it almost dissuades them from even starting it because the attention span of people, unless it's something that they're really interested in.
Do it anyway.
Yeah, that's what I did. I said it in my last one. I was like, you know what, but you know what, I'm just gonna go with it.
Do it anyway.
And you did.
Because I just do it. Yeah. I could probably go live, honestly, and ramble and rant for 2 hours straight by myself. I'm not even lying. Nobody even watching. But then I realized, but I'll come up with some profound stuff sometimes, and then I sit back when it's over. I'm like, I just said all that to myself. I was talking to myself. I just gave myself this.
Yeah, we're all very, very close to Ken, you know, in that way.
Self-motivating to myself.
Like I'll do that. Like I've done the show in the past. And I'm like, I see a big zero people watching.
No, I know. But I just keep going with it because those numbers will go up.
Yes.
They will go up, and just let them sit there, and they got to circulate when you're using social media.
Yeah.
So just do it. That's the thing, and that's the Gary Vee thing. It's like, just do it. But just do it. It might suck when you start, but you'll get better, and be thankful that you didn't have all the followers watching when you sucked.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And by the time that starts growing organically, you'll be really good at what you're doing, and you'll have it more fine-tuned, and you'll just keep getting better and better and better.
Yep.
And just do it. Just do it.
Just do it.
All right, Anthony Wayne.
Just another day, and I've made it through. With no one there to come home to. I guess I could wait so patiently if it was something that I want. You see, it's quite comfortable here in our skin, the kind of place you leave the outside to come in. You know, it took me a little while to get thicker from thin. You see, it's how I want things to be, and how I should have always been. How it should have always been. How it should have always been. And I've been living it up by getting down. I've seen the most of what's inside by being around. We retain the most by letting go of it all. So why am I always setting myself up for the down?